Welcome to the Explainer. You know, when we think about ancient texts filled with angels, visions, and the heavens, we usually expect, well, poetry, metaphor, broad spiritual concepts. We definitely don't expect hard, rigorous astrophysics, but that is exactly what we're unpacking today, the celestial laws of Uriel. We're going to look at an ancient text that treats the night sky not just as some beautiful canopy, but as a giant, highly predictable clockwork mechanism. It's a text where celestial beings don't just sing, they calculate. So get ready, because we're about to decode a mystery that blends mystical visions with some very strict mathematical laws of the universe.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this specific passage right here really sets the entire stage for our journey. And now, my son Methuselah, I have showed you all things. We're dropping right into this incredibly intimate micro-level framing, right? It's just a conversation between a father and his son. But he isn't passing down the family business or a piece of land. No, he is passing down the complete, finalized secrets of the universe. The whole law of the stars is completed. He's effectively handing over the instruction manual for the cosmos. It's this wild juxtaposition of a quiet human moment paired with literally the most massive cosmic scale imaginable.
But you might be wondering, where did the father actually get this knowledge? Well, the text points us to a very specific source, Uriel. Now, usually, when we hear about ancient angels, we picture spirits floating around on clouds, right? But the text describes Uriel very differently. He's explicitly called the leader of the luminaries, and the luminaries just mean the sun, the moon, and the stars. Think of him less like a spirit and more like a cosmic project manager, or maybe a chief astronomer. Uriel is the one who revealed the picture and the portrait of the sky. He didn't just hand over some vague prophecies. He provided a literal, functional blueprint of the heavens, detailing exactly how these lights in the sky operate under his strict command.
Section 1. Laws of the Stars.
We're transitioning now from the spiritual transmission of this knowledge, from Uriel down to Methuselah, into the macro-level sweep of the text itself. We're moving from the who to the what. And the what is a surprisingly rigid, unyielding architecture of the sky. And this brilliantly illustrates just how obsessed this ancient text is with precise celestial time. Just look at this. Every day, every time, every year, every month and week. The author wants to make it absolutely clear that there is zero randomness up there. It mentions every government, which in this context means the ruling celestial bodies, like how the sun governs the day and the moon governs the night. It also specifically notes her departure according to order, referring to the completely predictable paths these luminaries take. This isn't just casual stargazing. This is a comprehensive, airtight system for tracking time down to the exact day.
Now, as we read through this ancient blueprint, we inevitably run into some mystical-sounding terminology that we kind of need to translate. Take this for example. The text talks about the sixth portal. It says this is where the decrease of the moon happens, where her light is completed, and from then, there is the beginning of the month. If we put our astronomer hats on for a second, we can see exactly what this means. The sixth portal represents a specific, observable location or phase in the sky. The decrease of the moon is simply the waning of the moon until it goes completely dark, what we'd call a new moon today. And just like many ancient and even some modern calendars, that specific completion of light signals the exact beginning of a new month. So they're basically using this highly poetic language to describe very practical observational astronomy.
Section 2. Decoding the lunar math. Let's move to and see how this builds into actual mathematics.
This is where the explainer shifts gears from just observing the stars to literally doing the math hidden inside the spiritual text. We're going to look at the exact numbers Uriel supposedly passed down. The text gives us this highly specific number right here, 177. It states that there's another decrease of the moon which takes place in what it calls the first portal, and it takes exactly 177 days for this specific cycle to be completed. I really want you to appreciate the precision here. We aren't talking about roughly half a year or many moons. No, the text commits to a hard, exact number, 177 days. It shows this absolutely incredible dedication to empirical observation and record-keeping over really long periods of time.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the text doesn't just throw the number 177 at us and walk away. It actually shows its work. It lays out the explicit arithmetic. The text breaks down this 177-day period using what it calls the law of weeks. It calculates 25 weeks. If you do the math on that, 25 weeks times 7 days, you get 175 days. The text then explicitly adds the extra 2 days to reach the completed total time of exactly 177 days. It is genuinely remarkable to be reading an ancient visionary text that actually pauses to verify its mystical claims with a grounded, step-by-step mathematical equation.
Section 3. The 5-day delay.
But any astronomer, whether ancient or modern, quickly runs into a massive problem when they try to track both the sun and the moon. This brings us to the ultimate timekeeping puzzle mentioned in the text, the age-old discrepancy between the lunar cycle and the solar cycle. So the crucial point is how the text actually reconciles this astronomical headache. The text observes that the moon tarries behind according to the law of the stars. It's just slower to complete its annual cycle compared to the solar year. Meanwhile, the sun is ahead. And again, the text gives us a highly specific, calculated measurement. The moon lags behind the sun by exactly 5 days in one specific time period. These ancient observers realize that if you only track the moon, your calendar is going to quickly drift away from the seasons dictated by the sun. This realization, measuring this exact 5-day gap, was a literal game changer in understanding the mechanics of our solar system.
Which leaves us with this final thought. We might look back at things like the law of the stars and these mystical portals as archaic concepts, but how much of our modern time still relies on this exact ancient struggle to sync up the sky? Every single time you add a leap day to February, or every time you look at a calendar with irregular months of 28, 30, or 31 days, you are participating in the exact same mathematical balancing act that this ancient text describes. We're still out here trying to reconcile the moon that tarries behind with the sun that pulls ahead. So the next time you check your watch or glance at your calendar, ask yourself, are we still just living inside the blueprint, the cosmic portrait that was passed down to Methuselah all those millennia ago? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep looking up.